What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees. I'm a wife, a mom, a military veteran, a certified personal trainer, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps. If you'd like to follow me on social media, here's how you can do so. I'm pretty active on Instagram, and I also have some fun on TikTok, so pick your platform and I'll meet you over there. Today, I'm sure you have heard by now that Modere just shut down a week ago. No warning, commissions frozen, reps left scrambling right before the weekend. But before anyone could even process it, here comes Justin Prince, former Modere face of the company, hopping on camera to give his honest reaction. Now, if you have to tell people this is your honest reaction, is it an honest reaction? Because I feel like that's weird. Maybe it's just me, but let me know in the comments what you think. But let's be real. This isn't grief, in my opinion, that we're about to see. This is strategy. I feel like this is a recruiting pitch disguised as nostalgia, and I think you'll see that too. So today, I'm going to be breaking down this so-called visceral response to Modere's collapse and showing you exactly how he's using this moment, in my opinion, to soft launch or to funnel people that were in Modere into Make Wellness. Before I press play here, this is just a quick reminder. Justin Prince didn't leave Modere. He was terminated. That's public record. And since then, he's been working behind the scenes to launch his own MLM company called Make Wellness. I have plenty of videos on that. You can check the playlist, the Make Wellness playlist, in the video description as well, which has already been raising lots of red flags for so many people for things like using pseudoscience and ridiculous health claims, and also heavy recruiting tactics and hype. He also has a PDF floating around that teaches people how to recruit top leaders from other companies. And Julie Anderson did a video covering that, and I thought it was fantastic that she covered it. So check her out. I'll link that in the video description as well. The fact that Modere dropped the news on a Friday afternoon sounds like a familiar tactic. And I believe that was mentioned in his PDF playbook. Confuse the field, stall the panic, sweep the leadership into your new downline before they can even think twice. Interesting. So let's see what we got.
Reaction to hearing that Modere has now closed their doors and, has officially gone out of business. And so I got a phone call, no kidding, just a few minutes ago. And a friend of mine's like, "Did you hear?" I go, "Hear what?" And they're like, Modere closed their doors and they're out of business. I was like, "No, dude, what are you talking about?" He's like, "No, for real." I'm like, "Are you serious?" And I was thinking to myself, is it April 1st? He's like, "Does this April Fool's thing go all month? Or is this just, what are you talking about?" And, anyway, it was confirmed that they closed their doors. So I want to share with you guys kind of my honest, kind of candid, visceral feedback as I'm kind of processing through this.
Your candid, visceral processing of it. Meanwhile, you probably have some sort of mic set up. You've got the ring light on. Everything's well planned out, but whatevs. So he's setting this stage with this raw, unfiltered, just heard the news kind of vibe. I think that's the vibe he's wanting people to see. But here's the thing. In my opinion, he knew. In my opinion, people close to leadership knew. They may not have known, and I've said this before, and I will say it again, they may not have known it was going to happen on April 11th. But when sales volume is down 40% between 2021 and 2022. According to Direct Selling Facts, Figures and News, Modere experienced a substantial 40% drop in revenue from 2021 to 2022, bringing in $220 million compared to the previous year's earnings. Such a sharp decline indicates financial instability and changes in maintaining market share. Now, if the numbers dropped that significantly, not only did ranks probably drop, but these top leaders, their checks decreased. People's commission checks in this company decreased. And that was from 2021 to 2022. In 2023, according to Direct Selling Facts, Figures and News, the downward trend continued with revenue falling to $200 million from $220 million the year prior, a further 9% drop. So 40% then another 9%. And in 2024, preliminary estimates indicated a slight decline to 195 million, suggesting ongoing financial challenges. So when I say that these top leaders knew something was going on, this is what I'm referring to specifically. This live reaction that he's having feels to me like a show, almost designed to position Justin as the empathetic leader while lining up his next move, or dare I say, a funnel leading into Make Wellness.
So, man, it's a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, a lot of joy too. The joy is those are some great memories. 11 of the best years of my life. And went there when I was 32 years old. It was actually a company called New Ways, which at the time was a 25 plus year old company. And I came in as part of this small little team to put together like this North America transition team, because the business had had a number of years of declining revenue, and we were kind of brought in as a little SWAT team. We were up on the 5th floor of this building, and I remember when he named it Modere, it was going to be either Modere or Current, current with an A, so like a current, like in a river. And we ultimately decided on Modere, and it meant like the...
Isn't current a food? Type of food, a fruit or something? I don't remember. Some of you guys were saying that in the live stream.
Mode of your life, and dare to dream, and modern, we're like kind of creating the word, put the line over the O. I remember when we created the compensation plan, we were, it was this whole idea of like how we're going to kind of change the way that people look at the compensation. I remember we were sitting in the room when we created the words social retail. I used to draw these arrows like this. I did like social shopping, like online shopping, and I did direct sales, and I had these arrows, and I'd do a big circle. Any of you that were with us in those early years, you remember this. I do this big circle, and I'm like, whatever this circle is, that's us. That's what we're going to be, And I remember sitting in a room after traveling the entire week. I had these early 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m. wake-up calls. I was traveling all week doing these presentations, sitting in this room. It was on a Saturday. Instead of going home from the airport, I went right to the office.
Wow, you're such a stand-up guy, Justin. Did you guys know, according to the Salt Lake Tribune and Level After Next, that Modere originated, as he said, from New Ways International, I'm looking at my phone, whose founders were convicted of tax fraud in 2006. Did y'all know that? Although Modere rebranded and changed ownership, the company's roots are tied to a history of legal and ethical controversies. Now that's wild. I didn't know that. Let me know in the comments if you guys knew that.
Sitting there with kind of our little team on the company side. You remember Bob Finnegan gets up and he goes, what if it's this? And he writes down social retail. I was like, that's it, dude. That's the story. Like, that's what we're going to run with. And I remember thinking we had $1 billion idea. And it wasn't $1 billion idea. It was a $2.5 billion idea, at least in the 11 years that I was there, And we almost did kind of the impossible, because we did a turnaround of an existing company, and then kind of like the startup launch of a brand new company. And man, I literally went all over the world for that business. No kidding. Like all throughout Asia, all throughout Europe, all throughout New Zealand, Australia.
Okay, so now we've reached the official resume portion, and he's not talking to his former Modere reps here. He's talking to potential recruits, in my opinion, or people that are in Modere that were a part of his team that decided not to follow him into Make Wellness, but now Modere is closed and he's using it as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm still here. Come on over, guys. That's what I feel like this is. This is Justin broadcasting his credibility to the MLM world. He's not mourning, and in my opinion, this is marketing. Every line here has been carefully chosen to position himself as a proven visionary with a history of building billion-dollar ideas, which conveniently sets the next stage for the pitch into Make Wellness. Again, that's just my opinion. And let's not forget all of the things that he admitted to in the lawsuit, and I'll link my going over the lawsuit that he filed against Modere after he was terminated. All of the things that were disclosed in that lawsuit, in my opinion, do not say, hey, this is a good person. You can reference that video where I go through, a bunch of stuff in that lawsuit. And Modere didn't collapse because of bad timing or poor communication. There's heavy speculation that Z Capital pulled their funding. I'm hearing now that they filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which would explain the sudden chaotic shutdown and the lack of communication from corporate. And this sudden closure, it plays perfectly, in my opinion, to Justin's recruiting funnel attempt here that we're seeing, because reps who are panicked, confused, and financially vulnerable are going to be prime targets for someone offering a fresh vision or a familiar face paired with the next best thing. And again, he teaches people in that PDF that Julie Anderson covered how to poach leaders, in my opinion, from collapsing companies. This isn't a theory, this is documented strategy on his part that we are seeing right here before our eyes.
Japan multiple times, all throughout the United States, Mexico many different times. I mean, we went all over the world for that business. And guys, I was 32 years old, and it was just an amazing ride when we started that thing. And it was just, I even look back at those pictures, you're like, how did anyone follow us? We look like a bunch of kids, And it was an amazing ride, met some unbelievable people. In fact, when at our peak, when it was really cranking, God, we had something special. We had something freaking special. We had just this great culture, and it was just a great environment. It was just a cool thing going, And so I have a lot of gratitude when I think back to it. But I also have today, just a ton of sadness, right? There's so many people that I still care about in that business. I haven't been with the business now for a year.
Is the sadness in the room with us now? I'm not seeing any sadness, in my opinion.
Year and a half. And the exit was a little unceremonial, wasn't freaking awesome. And it was pretty painful. In fact, it was the most painful thing I've ever been through my whole life. My folks getting divorced, but that's when I was 12, so I don't know if that counts. But man, that was...
I'm going to pause him right there for just a second. The exit wasn't awesome, but I'm sure he's going to go on to tell us how grateful he is because of the experience in Modere. This is what I'd like to call reputation laundering. He's making sure to say all the right things about Modere to maintain credibility while also distancing himself just enough from the collapse. But here's the kicker. There's no acknowledgement of the field being blindsided or the commissions being frozen or the thousands of reps who were told this company was stable just days prior. It's all vague vibes, emotional language, and zero accountability. And I said this before in this video, and I'm going to say it again. This is his attempt to put people that were in Modere that now are no longer a part of Modere because it doesn't exist into a funnel, hopefully to join Make Wellness.
That was a painful business time, but I look back now and just with a lot of love in my heart for all of the amazing people that I met, both in the field, these incredible kind of social marketers and entrepreneurs out there, sharing their story and so on. And then also all those wonderful employees, and worked with great employees. And I learned a lot from kind of ownership teams as well. So it was a really incredible 11-year run. And I went to lunch. No kidding. I went to lunch yesterday with a buddy. When I say a buddy, that's a loose term. He's a friend from afar. He just moved down to Southern Utah, so we went to lunch. And he's not on social anymore. And he said to me, he goes, so dude, how are things at Modere? I was like, yeah, you're not very caught up to the speed with my life, He goes, how are things at Modere? He goes, you're like the face of Modere. And
wow, sounds like you guys are really close if he didn't know that you were terminated from Modere. Was that a year or 2 years ago? Now I have to look. Hold, please. It'll be 2 years ago, coming this October. So interesting. So this is a friend. You must be really close if this friend didn't know that you were terminated almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
I said, well, great, dude. I had 11 amazing years there. It didn't end. It ended a little unceremonial, but here we are. And, but I was like, that was a great run. Again, anytime in a decade period of your life, you do billions of dollars in revenue, that's typically a pretty happy thing to look back on, And so my heart goes out to all of my friends there. My heart goes out to our profession in a way, I've had this happen to me before. My very first company, now we switched business models, so they kind of got rid of the reps and kept the company in business, where in this case, the company's just kind of it's just over, it's just over. But my heart goes out for all those employees that work so hard. My heart goes out for...
Why am I giving a thumbs up? Because I can be empathetic with the fact that these people are out of a job that worked at the corporate office. And I can also be excited that one more MLM closed down in 2025. Those two things can exist at the same time.
All of those, social marketers that are out there sharing their story. It's chaotic when this happens. It's like all the sharks come out in the water. It's like you have all these different people calling you, and it's...
Hey, Justin, in my opinion, this video that you did is you identifying yourself as a shark in the water.
It's you have like your long lost uncle being like, yo, dude, what's up? And so it's a little chaotic. I've helped a ton of people go through that, where I was able to kind of help them, guide them through how to handle it and how to reclaim their business and their life and so on. So my heart really goes out to them. But I look back with a ton of gratitude on that run. We did some
And there it is, the gratitude. I called it.
super special things. And in fact, man, for a period there, for a number of year period, we were probably the fastest growing direct sales company in the world. And I specifically was probably the fastest growing team in all of direct sales. And it was an awesome.
Why do all these top leaders say that their team is the fastest growing team in the industry, in the world? Who's going to verify that? You know what I mean? They all say it. Fastest growing team in the team, or in the world, excuse me. According to who? Are you the source? Okay.
Run. We did some amazing things. And I feel like we moved, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I feel like we moved the discussion forward in direct sales in general, just meaning like we kind of moved the model forward a little bit with kind of that social retail concept. And so if you plug into this and you're, wanting me to like, do the I told you so or spike the football, it's just not how I roll, man. It's not even how I process it. There's too many good people. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if there's differences behind the scenes, there's too many good people that are actually out there sharing the message to have like any like gloat or it just isn't how I process it. So when I even though the exit was unceremonial, when it happened, I wish all those people well then too. I feel like there's two ways to build the tallest building in town. Do you know what I'm saying? Way number one is you can tear.
Of course, we know what you're saying. It is not that complicated what you are saying. Those filler phrases, you don't need them. You can just pause and say what you need to say. It's okay to have a little pause when you're speaking. Totally fine.
Tear all the buildings down. And way number two is you can just go build the tallest building. And I didn't have any interest in tearing anybody down. I wanted them to continue to succeed. In fact, I poured so much of my life into it. This is part of where some of the sadness comes in today. Poured so much of your life into it. It's like being on a sports team. It's like, what that sports team.
Come on. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the whole, I want to build the tallest building, not tear anyone down. That's rich considering he's using, in this video, in my opinion, Modere's collapse as a launch pad for Make Wellness. A funnel, if you will. You're not tearing Modere down directly. You're just sweeping up their reps in the aftermath. At least I feel like that's his goal here. This line, in my opinion, is meant to paint him as the mature, graceful one, while subtly positioning his new company as the next chapter for anyone watching. And then the fallacy of comparing him as a multi-level marketing company's distributor as somebody that plays on a professional team, athletic team, sports team. Please stop. The difference is that people that play sports professionally, they get paid. People in MLMs, unless you're at the top of the organization in the multi-level marketing company, typically don't get paid. And we know that because of income disclosure statements. And we know that because of the Federal Trade Commission.
Seems to collapse after you leave. You want it to like go win championships and be a great dynasty,
Right.
And so that's part of the sadness, to see that that's now come to an end. But, I'm focused on building the tallest building in town. I'm focused on the dreams and, the future. I don't want to be one of those people that always talks about what I used to do. Like, dude, back in the day, back in high school, I could throw a football over a mountain.
This entire life has been that. The entire life.
Like, no, I want to talk about where I'm going in the next year or the next 5 years, the next 10 years, like just vision and dreams and passion. And so today's a day to look back, give a ton of gratitude, offer a ton of prayers for the people that are feeling like a lot of shock or vulnerability right now, both from the company side and from the field side, and celebrate a wonderful experience. Those 11 years were really, really fantastic, and then hopefully be a beacon of courage, because any of you listening that have been through that, I've been through it. And I had grown man tears rolling down my face. I was like 26, 27 years old. I was in a really precarious financial situation, back on credit cards, back on taxes, had to live with my pregnant wife and our 2 kids into the loft of my wife's parents' garage, picked up 2 part-time jobs. I mean, it was scary. It was freaking scary, and it was stressful. And So I'm hoping that this video also could offer, if you're in that kind of a situation where you're like, oh crap, what am I going to do with my life, and can I rebuild it, and do I have what it takes? Hopefully a little bit of encouragement.
Okay, now we've reached the trauma bonding moment of this live. Every MLM leader does this, especially when they're trying to inspire movement in a vulnerable audience. He wants you to see him as somebody that's risen from the ashes. So you'll believe that you can do it too, but with him in Make Wellness. This isn't a eulogy, it's a pitch. And you notice how the tone changed a little bit when he's like, well, I don't want to talk about the past, but the entire live up to this point, all almost 8 minutes or whatever of his video has been about the past. But now we've reached the pitch. This is recruitment wrapped in a soft blanket of emotional storytelling that we're seeing.
They're like, yeah, you got what it takes to go again. Like, you can pick yourself up and dust yourself off and go. Your best days can still be ahead of you. You can still go chase down. And that's even what's happened in these last year and a half since I departed from Modere's. I kind of had to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, pull out the rocks and gravel out of the wounds, and just be like, I'm either going to lay here and bleed, or I'm going to get back on the horse and go again and see if I can, go have hope again. So praying for you, pulling for you. Sad day for our profession. Sad day for that business. Business did a lot of good in a lot of countries all over the world.
And it also hurt a lot of people. A lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of people lost time, energy, friendships, relationships. A lot of people thought that hey, this is my family, only to find out that it was a transactional relationship. Tell the whole story, Justin.
And just my heart goes out to those reps. But at the same time, there is a lot of fond memories, a lot of really sweet memories, incredible experiences, unbelievable journey. And so that's my candid, visceral response. So God bless, and appreciate you guys for jumping on.
Okay, goodbye, Justin. Now, according to Behind MLM, I'll link the article in the video description, and I quote, "As an aside, Make Wellness isn't doing too well either. SimilarWeb tracked a near 50% reduction in Make Wellness website traffic from the US as of February 2025. Now, Modere closing on April 11th. Do you think that Justin is probably using this as leverage? Because I do. I don't think he's reacting to Modere's shutdown. I think he's absolutely attempting to leverage it to recruit into Make Wellness. I believe that this entire video is a calculated recruitment first monologue disguised as sentiment. He's painting himself as a leader of vision, humility, and resilience, while quietly ushering reps toward his next MLM, which is Make Wellness, a company already marketing pseudoscientific products with vague promises and big emotional hooks. And the only thing more, I don't want to say entertaining, because pseudoscientific claims and products it's so dangerous. But watching people in Make Wellness who are getting really upset, Wes, I'm talking to you, getting upset because John Melton and them are starting a new MLM company that's going to be allegedly peptides. That part of this is quite entertaining. You guys let me know what you think. So if you're in the fallout of Modere and you're wondering what's next, be careful who you follow. Take the time to process, step away from everybody. Ask yourself how you're feeling. Do a profit and loss statement, because this isn't about rebuilding your life. It's about rebuilding his downline. And that's what all of these people that are trying to recruit you into the next company are attempting to do. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't follow them, that would impact their paycheck. So they have to double down on your loyalty and them acting like they're thinking about you. Meanwhile, in some of these companies, they're getting bridge contracts and they're not telling you. So there's always a motive. Ask yourself that. If you loved today's video, please do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel. You can turn the bell notification on if you want to get notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you guys for being here. And for those of you that are or were a part of Modere, take the time to process and don't make any rash decisions. My inbox is always open, and I'm not going to try and recruit you. And to Justin Prince and everybody trying to take advantage of these people, I hope y'all have the day you deserve. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.